Hi, I'm Adrianne Lynch with Local BadAss Businesses, and I have here with me Trisha Benning with Culinary Creations to tell us about your business. So welcome to our show.
Hi, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You bet. Well, I'm excited when I saw you posting out on our business page talking about that you now do a meal delivery service, catering. You had a variety. The pictures you show of the food looked amazing. So first, let's though learn a little bit about you. So tell me about yourself, your family, pets, life in general.
Well, my name's Trisha. I'm originally from Chicago, although I haven't lived there in a very long time. I enlisted in the Air Force while I was still in the high school. So I spent a short 25 years in the Air Force, all
Wow.
over the U.S. and overseas. And based on some of the positions that I had within the Air Force, I went to various culinary schools in the Department of Defense, as well as the Culinary Institute of America in New York, as well as several classes at their Napa campus. So I retired. My last duty station was in Hawaii, and I retired in 2012. And from there, we moved to South Carolina, lived there for 4 years until my son graduated from high school. And most of our families, half's in Chicago and half's here, and the weather is much better here. So we decided to come out, and we've been here. It'll be 4 years this summer. And I recently quit my job as an executive chef at one of our largest universities here in Arizona. So I'm sure everybody could probably guess which one that's at. And so now my side hustle has turned into my full-time gig. So I do customized meals for people. I do food prep and delivery. I actually just got home about 10 minutes ago from dropping off for a client. And I do cooking lessons, and I cater small parties. I like to keep my catering 30 people and under. The largest that I've catered for by myself is 150 people, and that's a lot.
That is a lot. That is a
It
lot.
is.
What made you decide to get into catering? Like, how did the business kind of, because you said it was your side gig and then you decided, you know what, I'm just going to go full in and make it my full-time business. So how did you
Right.
decide that?
Really, it's been word of mouth. I haven't advertised a whole lot. My clients that I had previously, once I told them I was doing this full time, they've been very gracious with spreading my information around. And there's a website that I use for other personal types of businesses like dog walking and babysitting and elder care and all different kinds of things. And you can find personal chefs on there. So I started doing small events actually a couple years ago using that website. And a lot of people that continue to travel to the Valley, they contact me when they're coming into town, and I do events for them. So I just had a gentleman contact me this weekend. Him and his buddies come out for a golf weekend every year, and this will be the third year that I've cooked for him.
Wow, that's exciting.
Yeah, it
That's
really is.
and a great testament that they, are always making sure that they use you. So that's great.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. They're a fun group to cook for.
I bet. So
Mhm.
tell us a little bit about like, what is your passion? Do you have like a specialty you like to do, or when you're doing the catering business or you're doing the meal prepping, kind of tell us a little more about that.
So I like to cook all different kinds of cuisine, and based on my experiences overseas, I've been very fortunate to actually live in a lot of places and experience the different types of cuisine. But what I've been really passionate about for quite a while, and a lot of people are becoming more aware and educated about it, is plant-based. So I do have a lot of clients that are vegetarian, some are vegan, some do Whole30, some do other programs. So we really are just customizing it based on what their particular requirements are, because not everybody's the same. You know, we all have preferences of foods that we don't like, or
Right.
maybe we didn't like when we were younger, but we may find that, oh yeah, that actually is really good now. So it's just really learning more about it, educating ourselves. The local farms around here are fantastic, and the sustainability that a lot of restaurants and chefs are becoming more involved in, to make sure that, we're being good stewards of what we have here.
Right. Well, and I like how you talk about too of the everyone has a different type of diet, and a lot of it lately I've noticed is people want to do more vegetarian or they want to do vegan, but they have no idea how to make the food, prep the food. And then sometimes, it's overwhelming when you're working, you have kids, and then you see a recipe. I know I'll be like, oh, I'm going to make this. And then they're like 30 ingredients. I'm like, really? I'm not going to go to the store and buy I need a half a teaspoon of
Right.
seasoning. So I think that part is nice that you can have the type of meals you want and
Absolutely.
and have it tailored.
Because it is more time intensive. It's more time intensive to do. On Wednesday afternoons, I actually do cooking lessons for a homeschool group of students, and they all do plant-based. So every week we do different recipes, and their parents are amazed at how well they're picking it up, but it's also teaching them math lessons and other things that will help them along. But also they're impressed at how much the kids actually like the food. And by introducing it to them and showing them, where it comes from and making it fun and getting them involved in cooking, that goes a long way too, because parents are tired of going through the drive-through, or I forgot to take something out of the freezer. And so that's really kind of who my target audience is, are those busy families. So I can help them bring their family back to the table.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think that's a great way for them to be able to sit at the table and not have to worry about it. Because it is like everyone buys every Instapot, crock pot. I mean, we all have them. And
Right.
then the same, like by the end of the day, you're like, forget it. It's not going to happen. I'm just, we're either Uber eating or we're driving through somewhere because you've just run out of the time with the busy lifestyles we all seem to have anymore.
Right.
So tell me a little bit about, we had just talked about before the show, the Feed Our Future that you said you're going to be involved in. So tell us a little bit about that kind of volunteer opportunity and why that's important to you.
Sure. It's an event that's actually happening this Saturday. It's in Phoenix. It's chefs from throughout the valley that are coming together with the Blue Watermelon Project. And it's teaching school-age kids from elementary to high school, again, about sustainability and healthy eating. And it's also trying to incorporate some of those healthy items into cafeteria lunches throughout the valley. So our kids are eating healthy foods, and it's not chicken nuggets and French fries every day, because some schools have found that those types of healthier meals work really well in their districts, whereas others we're finding that they're getting a lot of food waste. So by incorporating some of these projects, especially with younger kids, and again, for them to see how food is grown and they bring it into the cafeteria and they're preparing it and learning all about it and they're eating it and they like it, then it's setting them up throughout their entire lives about, healthy eating isn't necessarily a bad thing, and ketchup is not a vegetable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a great thing. It's interesting. I have teenagers, and it's interesting that now over the years, when I make something new, they're not always keen on trying it. But if I have them in the kitchen with me, helping me make it, and reading off, what we need, and they're chopping it or they're sauteing it, they do at least try it and will eat it because they had some skin in the game and were,
Right.
trying to make it. So that is great for kids because they are used to just the processed food in the cafeteria, and they get kind of where, as mine have gotten older, they want better food, especially when they're in sports and stuff. They don't want all the processed all the time, and it's harder in the schools to do that.
Right.
And for the families like myself to pack it, where that doesn't happen very often. So, well,
and it's just, and it's just finding that right balance too, is what are they going to eat? And, there's always concerns throughout different school districts of budget, well, if we do this, do we have the budget for it? And I've also taught at a culinary school, and obviously these are, young people, college age students, but, teaching them that food, we can heal ourselves from within. And that if we're living a healthy lifestyle and we're eating healthy foods, that'll help us down the road, that we're not taking all of these prescriptions and having these chronic illnesses that can be prevented if we're eating healthy.
Right. So tell us some, because you obviously cook a lot, so you're testing throughout. What's one of your favorite meals you like to prepare?
Oh my goodness. So many. For tomorrow for our cooking class, I've done it several times before. I actually did it for a Super Bowl party for a bunch of guys, and they had no idea that all their Super Bowl food that they were eating was vegan. And so tomorrow for the cooking lessons for the students, we're actually doing vegan tacos. And the taco meat itself is lentils and roasted walnuts. And then you pulse it in a food processor with a little bit of water. And then you add back in the spices for the tacos like cumin, chili powder, cayenne, however hot you want to make it. And it actually looks and has the same consistency of ground beef, but there's no meat in it at all.
Wow.
So we're going to do that tomorrow. We're going to see how that goes, if they like it. So, but it's, there's so many available resources to us now online, looking for different recipes and cookbooks. Forks Over Knives is a great one, that can give you different ideas of things to prepare. So it's been really fun doing that. I've been doing a lot of Italian cooking lately for different events. So it really just kind of depends what people want.
That's exciting. I love it. I love that your passion is really getting down to our youth and helping them and having them see, and their parents to see that, they can easily make little shifts that can make a difference in their family and their own health. Because I agree. I mean, we don't need all of these pills, and it's amazing of eating healthy, going to a gym or outside walking, what that does to our bodies versus, constantly needing to take something. And so I think that's great. I think that, not just making all kinds of foods, but really trying to help them understand the options that they have. And not the taboo of vegetables. It's, I grew up, it was the same. My mother was not a vegetable eater. And even now, if I try to sneak it in stuff, she knows it like she's a kid. She's like, I know you have a vegetable in this. As I used to try to blend them up, and I'm like, man, you're worse than the children. That you catch these things. So that's great to teach our youth that.
Yeah, that's actually the joke. My dad lives with me now, as I'm part of the sandwich generation. So my parents are aging and I have one in college. So I'm taking care of everybody. But that's the joke now after dinner is, okay, what was in that? Because they know that they got more vegetables and stuff in there than they probably thought that they did. But, it's hard, especially for our parents, and growing up in the Midwest, it's all meat and potatoes. And I didn't eat a lot of those types of vegetables before. And I remember sitting up all night long because I was not going to eat sweet potatoes and crying and making myself sick that I'm not going to eat it. And now I love them. So, there's so many different facets that feed into, pun intended, on how we eat, from education to where we grow up, our families, our friends, what's acceptable, our cultures, our education, where we grow up in, growing up in Chicago and then eventually the suburbs is a different story, but a lot of our urban areas still have what they call food deserts. So they don't have stores like we have here, Fry's or Winco or whatever, where you can go in and they have all different types of fresh foods available. You're going into a corner market that's a very small store, and you might get an apple or an orange or a banana and some iceberg lettuce and a cucumber, and that's about it.
Right.
So a lot of Detroit is a really great example. They've turned a lot of open lots and, torn down a lot of old houses and turned it into community gardens where communities are coming together and they're planting and they're harvesting healthy food so they have it available for them.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the great things I love about Gilbert is with the farmers market is, I mean, you can go and it's amazing. All of the incredible, I can't grow anything. I mean, I try, there's no effort. Everything has to be bought. So it's nice that you can go and the fresh vegetables and fruits and what we can have available to us is just amazing here. Cause it is, you can go to the grocery store, or you could go and have it directly from those who are, doing that on their own as a business. So
absolutely. Yeah. I always like to try to support small businesses if we can, because, that's where a lot of the hard work and sweat and tears comes in, and they're really providing a fantastic service for their community.
Yep, I agree. And they're providing for their family, the community, and it's, shopping and supporting local is a big thing. So I agree
Absolutely.
with that. So as we're wrapping up, what is anything you want to leave the audience with to know about you or about the food you prepare, or what would you like to leave them with?
Well, One, I appreciate the opportunity to talk with you today. I'm very particular about food safety and sanitation. I do have all of those types of certifications. I can work with you as far as what your family requirements are and what you'd like. If you want to do cooking lessons, or if you're looking to cater an event, or if you'd like me to do meal prep and deliver to you, you can reach out to me, and I'd be glad to talk to you. And for those of you, I know we just got through the holiday season, but people are already booking Valentine's Day. I hate to say it, but Valentine's Day and the Super Bowl are our next two big things. So if you're thinking about hosting an event, you might want to start looking around and finding who's available.
No, I think that's great. And we'll post your information below so that they can reach out to you and get that scheduled, or, coordinate with you so that we can get the word out there about what you offer and the different services. So I look forward to getting that out there, and I appreciate you getting on our show.
Well, thank you so much for having me today. I really appreciate it.
You bet. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too.